Of independence, the Bahamas has maintained a stern Bahamians First policy when addressing the issue of hiring non-Bahamian citizens on a long-term basis. In this presentation, we will briefly discuss long-term work permit status here in the Bahamas and also address the various misconceptions of the work permit application process, often expressed by the public at large, starting right now. Long-term work permits in the Bahamas are perhaps one of the most sought-after licenses by non-Bahamian citizens. A work permit in the Bahamas entitles the holder to a number of benefits, which not only include the ability to work and live in the country, but also entitles the permit holder to open up banking facilities, receive a salary in Bahamian currency, and in some cases, a great way to determine residency for tax purposes. However, being eligible to obtain a long-term work permit depends on a number of factors, the most important being determined by the nation's Bahamians First policy. So what exactly do we mean by Bahamians First? Well, it simply means that when an employer in the Bahamas is seeking to hire an employee that is not a Bahamian for a period, that position must be offered to a Bahamian citizen first. Non-Bahamian citizens can only be offered employment in the Bahamas if the position requires a special skill or expertise, and that there are unqualified candidates here in the Bahamas or a lack of interest from the local public. Under these circumstances, can a non-Bahamian citizen be eligible to receive a long-term work permit, which is issued by the Department of Immigration after a thorough application process. Now, some would argue that the entire process is not exactly foreigner-friendly, but believe it or not, the Bahamas is open-minded when it comes to hiring non-Bahamian citizens who can be found throughout the local economy in reasonable numbers. In fact, a total of 10,225 work permits were issued in 2018 alone, with the majority being hired for private household activities. The accommodation and food services industry had the second largest work permit holders, followed by the Bahamas' construction industry. Overall, the expatriate population of Bahamas is quite diverse with various cultures from around the world. In following the country's immigration policy, it is important to remember that it is the employer that applies for the work permits on behalf of the employee. Most persons are under the impression that they can apply for a work permit first and then seek employment afterwards while staying in the Bahamas for a period. But this is the wrong approach. If the employer in the Bahamas is interested in hiring you, he must advertise the job opening locally. And if the employer is able to demonstrate that no Bahamians are available or interested in the position, he can be eligible to apply for a certificate from the Department of Labor with a notification of vacancy attached, indicating that a Bahamian is not available to fill the position. This will be submitted along with the completed application form when applying to the Immigration Department. Now, persons who are interested in working in the Bahamas also believe that work permit applications is a straightforward process. But as you can see with the Bahamians First policy, the entire process is a time-consuming ordeal. With the help of an experienced attorney, however, work permit applications are likely to be approved in a more efficient manner with less delays in comparison to the employer who submits his application by themselves. To help your prospective employer with the application process, you should gather all of your vital information together with proof of identity, proof of qualifications, good character, and proof of good health, with certified translations to accompany documents if they are not drafted in English. Once approved, work permits are valid for 1 year, after which the employer may apply for the work permit to be renewed, but are still required to demonstrate the lack of interested or qualified Bahamians for that position, except for domestic workers. With the initial process, there is a nominal application fee, and once approved, the employer will be obligated to pay an annual fee, depending on the position held by the employee. Dependents of employees are also eligible to apply for a permit to reside, which will be valid for the duration of the work permit. Now, the process we described is the standard application process for long-term work permits. However, there are exceptional circumstances where applications for Labor Department certificates can be fast-tracked under special circumstances. And recently, under the Commercial Enterprises Act, work permit applications are more simplified and efficient, but only for businesses that are conducting activities described under the Act. Now, should you require any further information on long-term work permits, please feel free to visit our website at www.lawyerlex.com.